Good, beautiful morning, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. My name is William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach. And I have the energy of the Ascended with me today to guide us on the meditation, which will kind of run through the whole process today. But I've been given some really interesting information about why our young people being presented with so much confusion and distraction. And I was told this is happening because those in positions of authority know that people who are confused will always look for some way to eliminate their anxiety. They're being trained to become wholly dependent on the body as the sole locus of the identity. What that basically translates into is that they basically telling everybody that you're just a body, that your body is what makes you you, that your body is the only aspect of you that matters. And it is a beautiful instrument, your body. You're never going to get the body you have right now ever again. That body is one of a kind. It's a priceless work of divinity. Our bodies, the one you have right now. But to believe that your body is what makes you you is a lie. The body is the instrument that you have in this physical dimension. It's the instrument you have in this physical dimension that lets you exist and create and thrive in this physical dimension. Without the physical body, you cannot create in this dimension. So they're going after anybody who's subjective, vain enough, insecure enough, afraid enough, malleable enough to manipulate and control the human species. And they're doing it specifically towards younger people in the schools, in the kindergartens even now. They're targeting children to give them the misconception that the body is what it's all about. No, the body is the instrument that each of us was given to use as a function of creation here. Not to just make biological entities, but to express our spiritual function. And what is your spiritual function? Most people don't know. We get a lot of people asking us, what is my purpose? Why am I here? And our answer is consistently the same. You are here to manifest your expression creatively of love. Whatever that might be, an expression of love. That is a gift to the world. But you've been misled into believing that your physical body is who you are. And it is not. Your body is the instrument through which you bring your consciousness to express your gift to this world. But to be lost in the flesh is to gain the world and lose your own soul, which is why so many of you who are getting caught up in this manipulation, this grand manipulation around the planet, that somehow looking a certain way and making your body a certain way is what makes you special. That is not what makes you special. What makes you special is the nature and quality of the expression you offer to the world. Is it an expression of love or is it an expression of fear? Those are the only two elements that you can articulate creatively in this world, love or fear. And in fear, you cannot articulate love. In confusion, which is a degree of fear, in distraction, there is a degree of self-alienation. Your body is not who you are. It is the instrument through which you express your consciousness creatively to contribute to the welfare and well-being of your fellow citizens. It is an instrument through which you can give love, life, goodness, compassion, creativity, to add to your community's value, to add to this world's value. This is the instrument, that body you are hearing us communicate to you through. That is an instrument through which you are designed to function creatively. But if you believe you are just a body, you are cutting yourself off from your divinity. You're cutting yourself off from your divinity if you believe that your body is who you are. You are cutting yourself off from your divinity if you think the thoughts in your mind are who you are. You are far greater and transcendent to thought, matter, time, and space, but here to assert a creative influence over them. But if you can be captured or seduced into the senses, these wonderful instruments that allow you to apprehend and perceive this dimension and how it reacts and responds to your interactions with it, which is what your body is an instrument so that you can perceive and observe how creation reacts and responds to you, asserting your consciousness in this dimension. That's what you're here to do. But if you believe that the sensation of the senses is all that defines who you are, then you will think you are simply just a sack of flesh. And you will live your life very limitedly. You will not experience yourself as you truly are if you believe that the sensation of your senses is all that you have to experience here. You came here to assert a creative influence into this world. And there are those that gain great advantage at you being lost in your suffering. That is why suffering is so rampant. Not because you want to suffer, but because there are those who gain great advantage at your suffering. And so they wish to perpetuate it more, so their suffering is less at your expense. This great machination of confusion that's coming out into your world, you are agreeing with by accepting the idea that you are simply a physical body here to experience only physical things. You are a divine entity here to assert a creative influence in your world, that you are a creating intelligence, a divine soul, a spirit of universal light. This is what you are. What you are. And this wonderful body that you hear these words from, is that instrument is priceless and precious, one of a kind. A gift given to you in perfection. And how have you treated the gift? And how do you allow your gift to be treated? The functions of love are very clear in their results. And the functions of fear are very clear in their results. And you see upon this planet a great wave of perversion rolling over your civilizations, as it has done in the past before also. And we are arriving here in great numbers to offer guidance and inspiration to many whose ears are attuned to a higher vibrational frequency, that of love, truth, wisdom, kindness, compassion. Here to aid those of you that can hear, to hear. Those of you that can see, to see. You must understand that the world that you seek to know that would give you peace is within you. The full nature of who and what you are exists creatively within you. Not in your flesh. Your flesh is but a vehicle. Your mind is but a vehicle that you are here to use as a function of creation. And how are you faring in that beautiful, unique instrument that you have? Do you treat it with great respect and regard, like a holy, sacred temple? Because that is what your body is, and every body on this earth is as such in its natural state, taken care of properly, fed and clothed properly. Yes, exercise All of these things, I'm just asking them other things, and they tell me exercise and proper water, living food, things that really promote the vitality of our body. But we would encourage you to not be so eager to find your solace in the world, but look inside yourself, beyond your thoughts. Look inside yourself, beyond your thoughts, so that you can begin to glimpse who you are, independent of what the world has aspired to convince you to be. And there's great force and influence exerted across the entire human spectrum to influence many of you to be drunk in your anger and fear, not sipping from the cup of love, but guzzling fear and confusion and struggling in that. To alleviate this confusion that is being presented to you and perhaps even your children and your other loved ones, to begin the process of getting away from the confusion that is being propagated through to all of your senses. All of your senses, there are very few places you can go that they are not sharing some of their news and their TV sets and their technology to tell you what to listen to or what to hear. They're constantly bombarding you with information designed to confuse you and keep you outside of the sacredness of what and who you truly are, to keep you from exploring inward where your true nature, your true consciousness exists as a function of creation. The mechanism for returning yourself to the estate of peace and creativity and love is a function that many of you may know of as meditation. And the word is not the same as the experience of what it represents. Words are often a poor and pale comparison to the truth of what the word actually represents. The function of meditation is to restore you to yourself, to place you in a position of divine objectivity over the contents of your own mind and the functions of your biology. That is what meditation is designed to do, to restore you to your function of divinity and authority over the contents of your mind and the function of your biology. That you have it within you to heal your body through the renewing of your mind. And you have been given much to consider, to evaluate in your mind, a lot in your mind to evaluate. Because much of what is in your mind is not even yours. It is not even yours, which is where much of your confusion comes from. You did not choose most of what you are thinking about. Much of what you were thinking about was given to you to choose to think about. It was given to you. And you believe because it is in your mind that it must be you, that the thoughts that in your mind right now must be you. And let us say to you that is not true. That your thoughts are instruments of creation that you utilize for generating specific qualities of what you call emotion that allow you to generate functions of behavior that produce creative effects in this experience of time and space, in this physical world that you see the effects of causes. You are a soul. And through the function of meditation, which is also the assertion of your will, your dominion, if you like, over your mind and your body, the assertion of your dominion over your own mind and body, which of course leads to that no other man, no other being, no other source outside you can manipulate you if you understand who you are, if you understand how to assess the value of vibration in the nature and quality of thoughts that you've been given. Each and every thought that you are exposed to or will be exposed to is a vibration. And a vibration, when you hold it in your consciousness, let us say, the vibration of love, to hold the vibration of love in our consciousness, to truly embody that vibration, to feel it as a movement from the invisible to the visible, that once we bring that vibration down into the flesh, it begins to radiate or emanate into your physical world, and you begin to observe things changing around you as you are right now. The things that are occurring around you right now are direct descendants of the dominant thoughts that you are being given by your world around you, and the ones that you would choose to agree with. And you must become very mindful of what thoughts you're going to choose to agree with. You must become very mindful of what thoughts are in your mind. Most of them are not even yours. And the function of meditation is to restore you to the position of authority over your thoughts, your emotions, and your physical instrument. You have authority over your mind and your body by divine nature, your soul, the observer of the thoughts. The function of meditation is to restore you to the throne of your consciousness, where you can observe what has been going on in your house, in your mind, and begin to change it. To begin that process of changing your mind, not waiting for somebody else to give you pleasing thoughts or ideas or illusions that would deceive you from knowing the truth of what it is we're saying to you. But there's not one among you that is confused that if we were to say to you, still your mind, breathe, relax, still your mind, quiet your body. You have the authority. You have the authority to say to your mind, be still. Your mind is not some enemy. It may be perceived that way when it has been given information that is vibrationally in conflict with who you are as a spiritual entity. Your true nature as a spiritual entity is a function of love. And it's very easy from the perspective of what you are to discern anything that is not in harmony with yourself. So it would appear for some of you that there's something inside you that is against you, because you've been given information and ideas through your five physical senses from those in authority and power in this world that would contradict who you are, that would tell you you must be afraid and be very afraid. And so you believe that. But in the function of who you truly are, you could never be seduced into ignorance. You can never be seduced into violence. You could never be seduced into harming yourself or others if you understand and begin to remember who you are as a soul, as an awareness. The function of your breath is very powerful. The fact that you can say to your body, breathe. The fact that you can say to your body, pick up this glass and drink this water. The fact that you can utter words through that body at its most basic level indicates to you that you have a dominion by nature over your form. It is your instrument to use, not to abuse. But again, you've been given misinformation from this world about who you are, that you have no control over your thoughts or your emotions. Some of you actually believe that. I just feel this way, you say. No, something caused you to feel a certain way, and that cause may be in the thinking of your own mind or in the information that's being given to you by your environment. And from the perspective of being entrenched in the thought world only, there's great sense of entrapment. Some of you can feel trapped because you do not know how to get out of this endless cycle of thoughts in your mind, which in turn generate emotional frequencies into the body that cause the body to likewise react and respond. But the function of meditation is to restore you to peace, to restore your house, to place your mind and body into the order in which they were designed to serve you. Your body and your mind are designed by nature to serve you, not to enslave you. And so there's much happening on this planet to keep you distracted in the flesh. This look and that look and this thing, much to distract you exclusively into the flesh. And we are not saying that the flesh is not beautiful and wonderful and exquisite, because it is, as a function, as an extension, as a vehicle that allows you to creatively express your true nature into this world. And the mind likewise is a beautiful thing. Again, if it is in the structure of energy that is more love-based than fear-based, then it loans itself to being very pleasing. The function of meditation is to afford you the opportunity to reassert the natural and healthy authority that you are designed to have over your own mind and your own body. Your mind and body were instruments manifested that you could operate through them creatively, not to get lost in them. And it can be very fun to have a beautiful and a wonderful body if you take care of the vehicle properly, if you take good care of it, if you honor it, if you love it, if you cherish it. It is like a good friend then. That if you would love and honor and cherish the beautiful instrument that you are able to experience this world through, then it will be a very good friend. And likewise, your mind, which may at times seem to be the enemy within you, can also be made into a very good friend that you will enjoy being with. And first, to do this, you must understand the function of your awareness, what you are as a soul, as a consciousness, as pure awareness, that you can observe and interact with thought, alter and change them. But to come to that understanding, you must first train them in a very simplistic way, to train your body and your mind to be as you require them to be, not as you think you need it to be in order to be loved or accepted by others. If you are altering and changing your body and your mind to please others, that has its own set of difficulties. But if you come to the place in your consciousness where you can train your mind and body to be still, to be quiet, to be open and receptive to you and only you, because much of the confusion in your mind has come from the world around you. Much of the dissonant emotions that you're feeling are coming from the thoughts that have been given to you from the world around you. All thought is an accumulative and a regenerative substance. It accumulates and it builds energy. Like the name that you have, that you use for that body that you're expressing or hearing these words through, the name that you've been given has a lot of resonance to it. So if I say your name, Jessica, or Brevit, or John, or Mary, then you feel the instrument react because it's got the energy to it. All thought produces an electrical charge that induces your physical body into functioning in a very specific way. All thought does this. Thought may take time to accumulate before it demonstrates a function through your body. It took a significant period of time for the body that you're in to even remember the name that was given to it. It took time for that body to remember that vibration being given to it by the environment, did it not? And those of you that have children know this is true. You had to say the name many, many times before the child would react to the name, before that body could recognize that you were referring to it when you expressed that name and term to it. So thought takes time to accumulate to cause a reaction in time and space. Now, many of the thoughts that you've acquired from this world are not serving you so well, so then it must be in your hands to then step away from what the world has taught you to believe to place that all aside and to consider then what thoughts, what ideas, what beliefs would serve me better. And then to have the patience and the fortitude to formulate a new idea, to train your mind and body into thinking and doing your new idea so that it becomes a function of your creation. Again, many of you are looking for someone or something outside of you to hopefully give you what you need that will bring you closer to yourself. But most of what is in this world is simply confusion, manipulation, control, and power. There are rare exceptions, and many of them we see being censored from your consciousness because those in authority and control benefit from your suffering. And why would they give up the benefit? So they will keep you in suffering so they can keep the benefit. So meditation, in the simplest term, is about asserting your authority, your loving authority over your mind and your body, so that they do not determine what is said or done, that you determine what they say and do and think. You determine what your mind thinks. You determine what your body does. But so many of you have divested yourself of your own authority that you look for your politicians who have become very good at manipulating you. And you become very controlled and manipulated by your so-called health practitioners that preach that they know how to heal your body when they clearly do not. But it is in you to do such things. It is within your capacity to heal thyself in body, in mind, and in world. It is within you to do this, to heal, to direct the body, to heal. It is within you. And all of you, on some level, know this to be true, that the function of disease is not a natural thing. It is not natural. And yet, much loans itself to that ideation. And great industries have been growing, again, benefiting few at the majority suffering. And that must be stopped. In order for this species to ascend itself up to a very different vibrational plane that it has been on for many tens of thousands of years, then the function of love must supplant the functions of fear and all of its children, such as greed, manipulation, power, and control. When you remember who you are, and that will occur when you return to the silence, you'll begin to remember who you are when you begin to return to the silence. The statement from one of your master teachers is, "Be still and know I am God." It was not designed as a statement of separateness, of something outside of you. It was meant to be something to be experienced and understood within you. That when your mind and your body are still and quiet, that you experience yourself in a very different way. If you can remain conscious, we see that a lot of people in the beginning, when they attempt to meditate, they go into what they call, they think they have fallen asleep. The body will appear to go to sleep. And from the perspective of biology, the body is in a dormant state and the mind is in a dormant state. But your awareness, the part of you that you need to keep awake, must be kept awake while keeping the mind and body completely still and quiet. And in that point where you, as awareness, where you awaken to what you are as awareness, in that moment, you become reborn to what you are. You rise above the flesh, you rise above the mind, and you restore yourself to the position of authority that you were designed by nature to have over your physical body. And this takes a little effort. And if you assert that effort, you'll certainly find the freedom that you've been seeking. You will not find the freedom you're seeking from anyone in this world. That freedom exists within you. If you want to find your Savior, The Savior is within you. It is not upon a cross. It is not in a church or a synagogue. It is not anywhere but within you. This is where it is. The kingdom of your divinity is within you. But there's nobody teaching you this the same way it was taught by your masters. But there are those of us arriving here that are offering this to you once again, to give you the opportunity to step outside of what the world has seduced you into, to return yourself to the nature of what you are. And from that perspective of what you are being, who you know yourself to be, is something that's independent of the identity that's been placed upon your body and mind. When you can experience your awareness as something independent of your thoughts, your memories, your emotions, something very interesting begins to happen. And you might think of it as waking up from a sleep, a deep sleep in the personality, a deep sleep in the flesh. You wake up from that. And what you will think and what you will say and what you will do and who you are as a being is different than what you know from your mind, what your mind tells you, what your world tells you, what your body tells you. The proper positioning of your consciousness and your authority over mind and body will be established the moment you begin to experience who and what you are as something that is independent of your thoughts, independent of the influences of the environment, independent of the biology that you utilize to function here creatively. And the practice of meditation is very simple in restoring you to this. The practice is simple. The patience you may need to establish the remembering to get your mind and body to that place where they are open and receptive to your awareness, where they have no authority over you, where they have no authority over you, your mind and body, where they are your humble servants. The statement, they who are humbled shall be exalted. When you humble your mind and you humble your body and you realize, these are my servants, not my master, then you move into a state of being that allows you to understand the nature of your role over your flesh, over your mind, and over your body. But you are being overstimulated by the environment. Much of your so-called entertainments, much of your excitement around money, what you should look like or not, should not look like or should look like, all of these things loan themselves to furthering the distraction that you have from knowing who you are. The fights and the protestations, the wars, the crimes, the wrongdoings, all of these things are to distract you from returning to who you are. And you sit in judgment of every other thing around you, and your judgment keeps you bound to that which you judge. And so you remain disconnected from who you are. How can you know who you are if you were distracted from it? And there are those that know this very well. And they've been doing this for many, many tens of thousands of years to your species. And so it is time to awaken. The energy is here again to give you this opportunity to liberate yourself from suffering, to liberate yourself even from death. But that is a discussion for another day, for you are an eternal consciousness utilizing time, space, and matter as a function of creation to gain experience in how you interact with this dimension and what you can cause and what you can affect in this dimension. You get to experience that. You really do. Okay. So at its simplest form, the practice of meditation begins with your breathing. And I'm going to put a little sign up here for those of you that are on YouTube and Facebook. You'll get this. I just put up on the screen now. And for those of you on TikTok, I'll read this to you so that you understand. And those of you on YouTube and Facebook, you can see on the screen. It says, breathe slowly and deeply and give your body permission to relax as you exhale. So it's a very simple step, right? Breathe in. And as you exhale, let your body relax. Give it permission to relax. When you do that exhale, give it permission to relax. Yes, will. And you continue to breathe slowly and deeply. And on every exhale, you give your body permission to relax more. What you'll also start to notice as you start to direct your body to breathe, because remember, you are now being directed to direct your body to relax. That's all. It's very simple. You're directing your body through your breath to relax. And what starts to happen when you direct your body to relax is you'll also start to notice that some of the noise and static, the background noise, you might start to also begin to diminish. It might not stop, but it begins to diminish as you give your body permission to relax. If your body tries to get restless or anxious, just use your breath. And as you exhale, let it relax. That's it. Step one, breathing slowly and deeply and giving your body to permission to relax as you exhale. That's step one. And you can keep doing that and let the body relax and notice that each and every time how easy and automatically almost it is for the body to relax when you exhale. When you exhale from the body, you're releasing tension. So the body naturally relaxes on its own. So when you're directing the process, that process of relaxation becomes intensified because you're now concentrating the effort to directing the body to relax. It's like concentrating to do any task. When you put attention towards it, makes the task easier. So this is step one they give us, to use the breath to teach the body to relax. Step two is then to turn your attention to the mind. As the body gets more relaxed and you allow it to be relaxed, you turn your attention to where all your thoughts and all your memories and all your emotions are. You bring your attention usually to the space in the middle of the head, because that's where most people think that their thoughts are. But what you're perceiving is the information that's stored electromagnetically in the brain. That's what you're actually perceiving. That's where memory, the memory information, the data that you've acquired from this lifetime and others is stored electromagnetically in the physical brain. That's where the information is stored. So when you move your awareness in that space, you're accessing information that you've acquired through the five senses. And then you're going to go into that space, and there's memory there, there's emotion. You might have a lot of background noise going blah, 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 in the background. You might have that going on too. If that's going on too, it's okay. What you're going to do is pay attention to that for just a moment and then breathe. Imagine you could breathe into the space in the middle of the head. So like imagine you could just breathe a breath into all those thoughts, memories, emotions. And when you exhale, like you let your body relax, let all your thoughts, all your memories, all your emotions go as you exhale. And just let your mind relax. And with each breath now, you're now going to give permission to your mind to relax more and more and more. With each exhale, giving your mind, your thoughts, your memories, your emotions, permission to relax. Just like you're giving your body permission to relax. And you're going to continue to breathe like that for a little while, just breathing slowly and deeply. And as you exhale, give your thoughts, your memories, your emotions permission to relax and become still. And you want to use words you want to give words to your mind like be still, quiet, and peaceful. Because when you give words to your mind, you're giving a vibration to your mind. And words like still, quiet, and peaceful have specific meaning to them. And by giving that specific meaning to the brain, it reacts to that vibration. So as you're exhaling, releasing thoughts, memories, and emotions, you can also be thinking, becoming quieter, calmer, and more peaceful. You're teaching now, you're teaching your mind and your body to follow your direction. so that they're not running on when you don't want them to run on. And this is what they don't want you to know. They don't want you to know that you have absolute authority over your mind and your emotions. They don't want you to know this. So they think for you. They tell you what to think. They tell you what to believe. But once you start experiencing your function of breath directing your body and directing your mind into stillness, calmness, quietness, peacefulness with each exhale, because it's always on the exhale that it's easy to release and let go of thoughts and tensions from the body. So if you're doing this, hopefully you are doing this, each and every breath that you do will let your mind and body become quieter, calmer, and more peaceful. If there are distractions around you and you're hearing that sound, and you're hearing the truck or the fire engine or the birds, just use your breath and release your attention from those things and bring yourself back to directing the body to relax, directing the mind to be quieter, calmer, and more peaceful. You may even want to tell your body and your mind while you're doing this that they're perfectly safe at all times. You can give that thought to your mind and body and watch what it feels. You're perfectly safe at all times. Thoughts create vibrations. Vibrations impact the electrical system of your brain and your body. And so learning to utilize thoughts in this manner pushes you into the position of authority over your mind and body. And you just continue to breathe like that, slowly and deeply, giving your body permission to relax. Step 2, breathing and releasing thoughts, memories, and emotions from your body, giving new thoughts to your mind that would best represent what you want to experience. Calm, peaceful, quiet, and still. And if you stay on those thoughts, because remember, some of us have a mind that's like, blah, 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 blah. Some people have a mind that's really busy, I can't stop thinking, an obsessive mind. That's okay. You just have to be patient with it, because it's been trained to be that way. You didn't make it that way. Your mind was not born that way. But it's been trained to be that way by the environment, the distractions of TV, the threats of violence and war, and all the things that they distract you with. So if your mind is really intense and really fighting with you, again, just use your breath slowly and deeply. Just continually say the same. I'm giving you permission to relax, to be still, to be quiet. And be gentle. Don't get angry at your mind or angry at the emotions that are there. Just gently breathe. Give them permission to relax. What most people do when they feel emotions that are uncomfortable, they attack them. Don't attack your emotions. Don't attack your emotions, because your emotions are just reacting to the thoughts that you have accumulated in your mind. So when you feel anxious emotions, just say to them, it's okay, be still, be quiet, be peaceful. You can even tell your mind and body, be still because I am with you. You can actually say that thought to your mind, be still because I am with you. You can say that to your body, be still because I am with you. And as you continue to use the breath, you've now taken the first 2 steps towards getting back home to yourself, to who you truly are. When your mind and body start to relax and let go and become quieter and quieter, as you give them permission to relax more fully and completely, as you allow the thoughts to grow still, giving your mind permission to be peaceful. As you go through that process, you start to feel unburdened. As the emotions begin to respond, as your body begins to relax, your mind begins to quiet, you're going to start to feel a vibration that is who you are. You start to move away from the noise of the world into the nature of your being, the energy of what you are as a soul. These are the 2 primary steps. And if you just apply these 2 steps, you'll get to complete the first stage of awakening. It's the first stage of awakening, where you get your mind and body, where they surrender to you. And they're simply open and receptive. Just like your mind and body were open and receptive when it was born as a little baby, when your body was first brought into this world, it was open and receptive to everything. And everything that was put in your mind made up the personalized identity that you think you have. And what you're doing is the reverse now. You're restoring your mind and body to that open and receptive state, so that you as awareness can begin to start to reshape your mind and body, to put your house in order, to start to get rid of thoughts, ideas, and beliefs that stimulate negative energy in your system. And as you do that, some of the side effects will be improved health, greater relaxation, peace of mind. You'll start to observe phenomenal changes happening around you, natural changes that will start to happen around you. Yes. So they're asking me to tell you to do this right now. Like, actually, for those of you that are doing it, I'm going to repeat the instructions and just spend a minute or two doing this, getting a sense of how you feel, being able to direct your own mind and body into a different state of being. Remember, this is your divine house. This is your sacred temple. It's designed to serve you, not to enslave you. And yet there's much in this world now that's trying to keep you in the delusion that somehow you're going to find your happiness through what you do with your body, or what you get, how you feel with your body, what something tastes like, what something smells like. They think that you've been convinced to believe that that's where you're going to find fulfillment. But if you were going to find fulfillment through what you experience in the flesh alone, you'd be fulfilled right now. So those two first steps: breathe slowly and deeply. As you exhale, release the tension from the body. Give your body permission to relax. Remember, you're not who you think you are. Most of who you think you are was already given to you by the world. The beliefs, the way you think and function and act right now is mostly been what the world has told you to think and believe and act, not what you've decided. So as you exhale, let the body relax more fully and more fully. Each and every exhale, allow the body to relax more. If any thoughts, memories, or persistent emotions come to your mind, again, take a slow, deep breath. And as you exhale, allow the thoughts and memories just to become quiet, calm, and peaceful. Give your mind permission to be still, quiet, open, and receptive to you. Just continue giving that thought to your mind and body. Relax, let go, turn loose, become still, quiet, and peaceful. And you'll always notice that as you're exhaling, how much easier it is to feel that authority of direction happen to your body as you go, relax. And just feel how the body follows your directions. And then the same thing with the mind. You breathe into the space of your head. And as you exhale, you let your thoughts, your memories, your emotions just to go, and give your mind the thought. Become quiet, calm, peaceful. And be mindful of the internal tone of voice that you use. You can slow your speech down in your mind. You can slow your thoughts down and say, be calm, quiet, and peaceful. And your mind will respond to you. Isn't that wonderful? And if you keep doing that, the mind will get quieter, calmer, and peaceful, because that's the vibration you're directing it with. Just the same way as I direct the vibration, the thought open, hand open, the thought to the hand close. As I bring that thought into my brain, that thought triggers the nervous system to cause that reaction, open, close. So I'm bringing the vibration of thought into the body that causes the nervous system to electromagnetically respond to the energy of the thought that I bring into it. And so when you're saying to your mind, be still, be quiet, be peaceful, it will respond. If there's a part of your mind that's really afraid and anxious, then turn to it and say, I am with you. It's okay, you're safe. You can talk to your mind like that. You can say to the mind, it's okay, I am with you. Breathe slowly, and you say it again, become calm, quiet, and peaceful. I am with you. You want to communicate thought forms to the mind and body that establish the energy that you want to begin to experience in the mind and body. Again, most humans have been conditioned by the environment as to what they're supposed to think or not think. And so this is a little different, because now you are now becoming the instructor over your own mind and body, giving them instructions deliberately and intentionally, giving your mind permission to be still, giving your body permission to relax more and more. And with each and every breath that you take on the exhale, you give the mind and body permission to become quieter, quieter, and quieter. That puts your mind and body into a position where they're now subjective to you. And that's when you can bring thoughts in like, I'm a beautiful being. You can bring that thought into your mind. I am a beautiful being. This is a beautiful body. This is a still, peaceful mind. You can begin to bring thought forms that you'll actually feel the energy of. If you are distracted by the world or what the world has taught you, again, you're going to be wrestling with this. Some of you will be wrestling with the mind and all its contradictory beliefs to this process. Because your mind is taught, oh, you're supposed to be afraid, you're supposed to be anxious, you can't trust anybody. That's what most people are being taught to believe. But by simply and gently just saying, still, quiet, open, peaceful, receptive, calm, you establish those energies into your body. And like I said, I think the thought open, the hands are open. The thought comes in the brain, the body electromagnetically responds. I say to the hands, close. The thought comes in my brain, close, the hands respond. The system is designed to respond according to the thoughts that you have in the system, whether those thoughts come from your own creative faculties, or from a book, or from a teacher, or from a friend. Your body by nature is designed to react and respond to the electromagnetic nature of thoughts. And so the nature and quality of your thoughts determines the nature and quality of how you experience what you call an emotion. If you understand what we're saying, this becomes very important. That the emotions you're feeling are responses to the nature and quality of thoughts that you already have in your mind, or that people are giving you, or you're receiving from other sources of stimuli. And it's so important that you come to this awareness, because your life depends on it. Your happiness depends on it. Your fulfillment depends upon you realizing that you are the authority over your mind and your body. You are the authority. And that authority comes with certain responsibilities. The functions of love and the functions of fear are very different in their outcomes. Love will never do harm. The vibration of love will never harm, ever. Only the vibrations of fear can cause harm to mind or flesh. Only the vibrations of fear can cause harm to mind or flesh. Okay, thank you. I just want to say thank you to the Ascenders for being present with us today. The simplicity of this is what's most important. That I am operating as an instrument to assure whatever information they want to download to us to liberate us from suffering, to restore us to our divinity, to restore us to our function of love. The rest of this biological lifetime is going to be spent in that function, to simply allow the same message to come through until it is heard. That you are not your body, you are not your mind, you have a mind, you have a body. And they're instruments that you must learn to use, not instruments that you allow the environment to manipulate and control. You came here with a very specific and clear function. Every one of you. You came here, and I know every one of you knows you are supposed to have a purpose, because you do. But the world is not going to give it to you. The world's not going to give you what your purpose is. You contain your purpose in your consciousness. And the confusion that you have by what the world has taught you to believe about who you are is what keeps you separated from your purpose. The world doesn't teach you about how to take care of your body. The educational systems don't teach you how to take care of your thoughts. And doesn't teach you that your thoughts create emotions. No, it's teaching you to be afraid. It's teaching you to just simply listen to what you're being told. And this is what we want you to believe. And so you're bound by this concoction of so-called education that's doing more to confuse people than it is to liberate them. And the evidence is in the state of affairs of most of your modern civilizations around this world. The state of homelessness, the state of poverty, the states of imbalance in terms of the distribution of this beautiful, wonderful wealth, the system of life here you have. That is how we know and can see and observe that there is a great imbalance, and that you've been disconnected from your creative capabilities by being distracted by the things of this world. But your purpose exists within you to begin to restore yourself to it. You must liberate yourself from the world mind, the personality that you've been given. You must liberate yourself from subjectivity to most, if not all, of the beliefs that you've been given to accept as truth. to restore yourself, your mind and body, to a state of peace, so that you can begin to evaluate and choose, because there are many good thoughts in this world, and there are many good people in this world, and there are many good teachers in this world. But you have to be able to evaluate the vibration of what you're being given. When someone says to you, you should think this or you should believe this, it's important you understand how to evaluate the vibration of what you're being told to consider. That you should force your body to be something it is not. That does not vibrationally feel good, does it? That you should be something you're not. Even that thought, you should be something other than what you are. That thought does not feel very good. And yet you're being told constantly, oh, you must be something else. You must be something different. No, you must become and remember who you are and embody who you are. And the only way to do this is to begin to move your conscious into a place where you can accurately evaluate the information and ideas that people are asking you to consider. Your politicians and your so-called leaders have a great deal of fun misleading you to their own benefit. And you understand that this is going on, but you do not know how to excise yourself from their influence, because you're so caught up in their influence, in simply accepting what they say without question. But let us conclude the discussion with this last rumination, that in the moment you establish your authority over your thinking mind, that it does not think anything other than what pleases you, what gives you joy, what uplifts you and inspires you, that when you can establish your authority over your mind and body, you shall begin to become free. You shall know the truth, and that truth will set you free. For many on this world, that you're giving false ideas, false beliefs, and are unable to distinguish the difference between that which is true and that which is false. And you can only do this from the truth of who you are. When your mind and body are still and quiet, you can become very, very aware of the subtleties of vibrations of what a thought is, what an idea means. You can become very aware of that. That doesn't feel right, or that feels very good. As awareness, you can make that distinction much better than your biology can. Your biology is not designed to think for you. It's designed to allow you to experience creation in this world. Your mind is not designed by nature to think for you. It is designed to follow your direction in what you would choose to think. And when you restore this place of silence, when you restore yourself to the peace within you, there are many other thoughts that you can hear. Many, let us say, if you believe in a higher power, if you believe in a God, if you believe in the angels, then you will surely meet them, not in this world, but in your soul. But you must first climb to the throne, place your mind and body in service to you. Allow yourself to hear with the inner ear, to see with the inner eye what you cannot see with the physical ears and physical eyes. You cannot hear or see these things with them. Wow, let's take a look at some questions here, guys. Where did I put those in? Okay. Hi, guys. Sorry, there we go. Thank you so much. Hi. Let's see here. Questions. Hi, Christopher. Good to see you this morning. Wonderful. Thank you, Chris. So much love to your mother, Trish. So much love to your mom. So glad to see that. So somebody's saying, Rainbow Warrior Path Tarot is saying, if anyone is going through it tough and wondering, will it ever end? Don't lose faith. It does. Yeah, it can be really hard in the beginning. You know, 4.5 years ago, when they began talking to me and telling me what I needed to do, how I needed to change my body, what I need to eat, and how I need to, what the things I actually need to focus on. My mind was very resistant. It was like trying to stay in the old emotions all the time, because that's the way it's trained. But like Rainbow Warrior, be patient. Your mind and body have been conditioned and made up by the world, and you now have to retrain them to be in service to you. And most of what you've been taught, most of what you believe, you didn't even choose it. It was given to you by the environment, and it will. I promise you, that place, that moment, there's this moment when your mind and body become so still, and you've done it. You've got your mind and you've got your body, that place where they're so still and so quiet. And there's this feeling, I want to use the term euphoric, but it's more than that. It's just this feeling of freedom that you realize, I am not who they told me to think I am. And then you start to wonder, well, then who am I? And then you can start to build the truth of who you are. So yeah, we're going to take some questions. So for those of you that are still here, continue that breathing process while other people interact with us, but breathe slowly and deeply. Give your body permission to relax on the exhale. Then breathe slowly and deeply and give all the thoughts, memories, and emotions in your mind permission to become still and quiet. You can say them, become still, quiet, and peaceful. And you'll find it's always going to be most effective on the exhale. That's what I've discovered from what they taught me. Always on the exhale, it's easier to release thoughts, memories, emotions. Always easier to release tensions from the body on the exhale. And again, there's this place in the process where you're going to, when the mind and body start to respond to you, that you start to feel something that you cannot get from the world. You can't get that. You cannot feel or know who you are from the world because you already are. You just have to connect to it. So Brianne is asking on TikTok, why can't I remember my dreams? Because where you're going, Brianne, where you're going is farther than your mind. You are going to dimensions of experience and consciousness that your mind can't resonate with. You're moving your awareness so far out of the body that the body's not interacting. Dreams are usually products of when the soul is partially in the body and partially in another realm of consciousness. And the information, the vibration you're in that other realm, interacts with the information in your brain and can stimulate what you call dreams. Now, there are other elements to dreams too, but that's mostly what dreams are. It's just information in your brain reacting and responding to information you're experiencing energetically outside of your mind and body, but which you're still connected to slightly. The further you get from your mind and body, the more you travel out there, like astral traveling, going off to other dimensions, you will not remember most of those things unless you train your awareness to wake up, which is what they've been talking about with us this morning. You train your mind, you train your body, and then you learn to stay awake. Because a lot of people are doing this breathing process, which again is very simple. They tell me all the time, this is not complex, it's very simple. So that simple breathing process to train your body, to train your mind to be still and quiet, and then to learn to stay awake so that you are awake and aware, but you're not, your thinking mind's not weighing and analyzing, it's not remembering, you're just being aware that you're aware. Oh, my body's quiet, my mind's quiet. I can hear things, but I'm not distracted by them. And there's that moment where you are still awake. And it's at that moment that you can actually start to move on to other dimensions of consciousness. It's at that moment that you can start to bring in new vibrations in the body. You can bring a vibration of love in the body. You can bring a vibration of inspiration in your body. It's in that realm beyond your mind where you can achieve and pull into new experiences. So yeah, dreams aren't necessarily going to be remembered if you're not in the body. If you're far enough away from it, the body is not going to react to it. The body requires an electromagnetic interface between your awareness and itself in order to respond, because you are electromagnetic in nature, your soul. You are an electrical being, right? You're non-physical energy. Somebody saying, I tell my grandkids to go with their gut instinct. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Yeah, that's a really good thing to teach your children, because the body knows that solar plexus energy center in the body really knows, but also the heart chakra, the heart center can really know. The body can't lie to us. That's really great thing to share with people. Teach your children, teach your grandkids to go with their gut feeling, but also teach them how to quiet their mind and body, so they start to experience who they really are. Right? Children are funny when you teach them meditation. It's no big deal to them. It's natural. They don't have a mind. You can just say, just listen to the silence. You can say there's young children, listen to the silence. And they can. And they'll just sit there in it because it's so beautiful. Question from Nancy on YouTube. Why do people have night terrors? Is it daily thoughts or darkness trying to overtake us? This is a great question, and understand that there's so much demonic influence on this planet right now, lower vibrational entities that are keeping humanity enslaved to fear. That the TV shows, radio, many news stations, much of what's going on in education and universities, so-called education, is all fear-based. It's all about the body. Look how I look, and look at the way. It's all about the externalized self, which is why there's so much suffering in a lot of these communities where people are so flourishing about that. Anyway, all this fear, all this doubt, all this anger, all this rage you see being perpetuated by existing influences, television, movies, TV shows, loan themselves to perpetuating tremendous amounts of fear that go into your mind. You think you're just watching a TV show. Most people don't make that distinction. They get caught up in it. Oh my God, I'm reacting. Oh, look what's happening to my hero. And they get caught up in the emotions of the information that's stimulating their senses. And that information goes into your subconscious field so that when you go to sleep at night, all that fear, whatever you've indulged in, get to interact in your subconscious mind, and it affects you. So people can go into fear in great terror. You watch enough scary movies, your mind will go into terror, right? Thank you, Matt. That's a really good question, Nancy. Thank you so much. Amber's asking on TikTok, does my Nana Dale Moffat have any messages, and is Angelo going to unlock his potential? I get a strong yes on Angelo. I've been working on him really hard. She's been working on him really hard in a good way. He keeps forgetting his heart. He's distracted by the friends. The friends are distracting him. Again, so many young people. That's why they're targeting young people, because they want them to be extroverted out. And I'm not saying extroversion is a bad thing, but I am saying that they keep people, that the real thing, all the good stuff that happens is only in the world, and they're disconnecting them from their soul, which is why people are so unhappy. Because if you're not connected to your soul, and you're only connected to the mind that you've got from this world, it's a cluster muck. It's crazy. If you can't distinguish between your mind and your body and who you are, it's very confusing. And young people are very amenable to being given beliefs and ideas that will go contrary to their nature. And it's really unfortunate to watch that. But she's been working really hard on him. Do you have anything to say to her specifically? Do you have anything to say to her specifically? I don't know why, but she's saying something about don't destroy the roses. Something about the roses. Don't do the roses. I don't know if she means to prune them. What do you mean? Keep the roses. So whatever you got a rose bush around. She's saying I don't know what she means. She's just saying don't do the roses. You're saying don't do the roses. So I don't know what that means. Amber, maybe you can enlighten us. I don't know what she's referring to specifically. Yes, I see that too. Okay. Scroll down here a little further. It's okay. We're not going to be on too much longer, but I do want to say I'm really grateful for what we've received today. Thank you for being here, Chris. Question from Joseph. How do I connect with my spirit, soul, and God, our Father? Joseph, that's a great question. If you follow the simple process they gave us, that's the most important step to. There's a statement that's often said, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world but lose his own soul? That basically means you get lost in mind and body. That's basically what that translates into. When you teach your mind and body to become simply quiet, calm, open, receptive, then you as awareness can actually receive inspiration and guidance you can connect to God that way. You can connect to God through that. training your mind, getting your mind and body out of the way so they're not distracting you, connecting to what you are, there is an immediate shift in energy. Like, you can do this today, Joseph. Like, if you're there, do it right now. Take a few slow, deep breaths, allow the body to relax, and then take a few more deep breaths and allow all the thoughts to become quiet and calm. Give your mind permission to become quiet and calm. Like, if you give your mind and body permission to become quiet and calmer, and just keep doing that with your breath, you're using the breath of the body as a physical assertion of your will for the body to become quiet and the mind to become quiet. And as they get quiet, you start to feel a different sensation than you do when you're in your body actively evaluating thoughts. And as you gain more experience with being in that still place, remember that statement, be still and know I am God. That statement is very profound and simple. Get your mind and body. I mean, Master Jesus, when he was trying to connect to God deliberately and consciously, he had to sit for like days and days and days to learn to finally have that communion happen. The same thing happened with Moses. He went out in the desert for 40 days, right? Went up in the mountain for days and days until he finally got the inspiration. The mountain is climbing up. The mountain is you. The mountain you've got to climb is bringing your awareness out of subjectivity. The body is the mountain, okay? The mind and body are the mountain, that the allegorical mountain that Moses climbed, where you raise your consciousness up to no longer be subjective to the body, to no longer be subjective to the thoughts and memories and emotions, to sit at the top of the mountain in the stillness and be patient. Just be still. And in the right moment and in the right hour, it will come to you. It will come to you. Thank you for that. It's a beautiful question. Question from Ruth. Is there any advice in being more aligned with my bones and organs, please? Again, the first thing I'm being told to tell you is you need to engage in yoga, movement, proper mindful movement with your body. Yes. You'll also find that there's some simple alterations in your diet will loan itself to making that practice more enjoyable. But they're really saying that you really need to get into like specific movements that you need to do to bring your body, your joints, your ligaments, your tendons into a harmonious alignment with each other. You're going to need to go through that process. What does it mean? So who's this? Who we got? Angel. Hi, Angel on my side. That's always good to have. We've got lots of angels on my side. What does it mean when you have a fairy watching over you? What is the difference between the other? I don't get the whole question. Oh, what's the difference between other guides? Well, I've only experienced the fairies a few times, and once was out in a park out in Newfoundland about 4.5 years ago. It's the most beautiful thing. And for me, they were just they're caretakers of the natural world. They take care of the natural world, the trees, flowers. They work on the natural world. And their opinion of humanity is we have to shift our consciousness. We have to get more unified in love than fear, because our fear is causing us to do things that love would never do. Remember, there's only two functions, love or fear. Fairies for me are very light energy. They're like sprightly. They're like, if you look at think of dragonflies, but more like light with wings. That's kind of like my perception of fairies, and they have different colors when they move around in the woods. With guides and angels, I experience them very differently. Sometimes I only hear my guardian angel John. I generally only hear his voice. Master Jesus, when he comes to me, I literally feel like I'm in a pillar of fire. Like literally, I feel my body starts to sweat and get really hot. If Archangel Michael comes, I feel him behind me. Or Archangel Metatron, I feel him push me out, like somebody's pushing me forward. And others, like, who would be a good one? Sanat Kumara, I see him. I actually see him in garb and robe and staff in his hand and special hat on his head. It's like almost like a turban on his head. So some I see, some I feel. And again, it's going to be different from person to person, depending on a range of things. What your fundamental beliefs are in your mind, how much does your mind influence what you perceive? How much does your biology influence what you perceive? Because your mind and body have been conditioned by the environment to be more authoritative over you than they should be. And when you get your body and mind established in your proper authority over them, then you will start to see and hear and know your guides and angels in a very different way than many people do through their mental and physical systems. But the majority of the time, I feel the presence with people that are coming in that are not in their physical bodies. I feel their presence. I feel their presence. Sometimes they'll come right down and they'll rest in my heart. Sometimes they'll come around me. And I generally hear their voices, or I get images. They'll communicate and I'll pick up the images that they're sending because I can't hear the words sometimes. Sometimes I get images. Sometimes I get words. Sometimes I get clear, defined thoughts. Yes, those are the general ways in which I experience the different range of angels and guides and ascended masters. Collectives like the ascended today, I feel them like this energy all around me, like there's a circle of beings all around me, and I can feel them all connected to me at the same time. And it's like when they come through, it's like all of them as one. It's a strange way to put it, but that's essentially what it is. I mean, Abraham Hicks, in working with Abraham, has the same kind of phenomena where she recognizes it's a collective of beings, but they work as a unified consciousness through her, articulating the truth. And again, it's different from person to person. And ultimately, you want to get your mind and body. It's so important. The first thing they taught me to do is you have to learn to quiet your mind, quiet your body, so that you can actually begin to hear. Because if your mind is going yakety, yakety, yak, you're not going to hear. You have to train your mind into silence. You have to train your body into stillness. And in that place, that's the place where you can begin to receive information that's clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, claircognizant, where you begin to receive information beyond the 5 sensory world. And that's very important to gain that. Great question. So someone's asking, hello, Maria, what does it mean? What does it mean when white orbs visit you in your home? I love when that happens. We get that a lot here. And we've seen that happen on a lot of our live events during the Masterclasses, where we have orbs and other things like that happen. It means a different thing. Again, if you can get out of the fascinating, because again, I see these orbs, right? Or people take pictures and see the orbs after the fact. You need to be able to get from thinking and analysis to feeling, or what we call clairsentience or claircognizance, where you can let yourself feel their energy. Because once you can let your awareness connect to their energy, you'll know why those orbs are there for you. And oftentimes they're there to bring light or to remind you that these other dimensions of beings that are trying to connect and commune with you, right? A lot of people get flashes of light, blue, green, yellow. And those are moments where they're trying to connect with you. But understand, it's difficult for your guides and angels to connect to you through the programming of your mind. Your mind is like a wet blanket over your spiritual faculties. You're so caught up in the 5 sensory world that you don't realize the multi-sensory world. They try to get through that. And number sequences are some of the ways. Serendipitous events. They'll try and connect to us through serendipitous events. Sometimes they'll connect to us through not so pleasant events. But they'll find the way that you can connect to them in the way that you can. But I highly recommend doing what the Ascended said earlier. Train your mind, train your body to be still, quiet, open, and receptive. And just be patient. You can ask for your guides and angels to come into that space. But if you got your mind going yakety yak, you're not going to hear them. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, I like orbs. They're beautiful. So somebody's saying, so Amber's saying she has a rose bush outside her house and we're selling it. Oh, now I know what she means. Thank you for saying that, Amber. Yeah. So if you can, yeah. So you know what it means then. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. It's really important, you guys, when your question's answered, to share how you recognize it fits into your life, so that other people recognize it, that the function of being a medium is a real natural, good phenomena when it's used through the function of love. There are demonic forces that are coming through people that come through the vibration of fear. You cannot escape that reality. There is darkness and there is light. And when you share your light, when you share your experience with somebody like that, it's really important. So Amber's just revealing to us that grandmother's message was again in relation to the rose bush at the house that they're about to sell. Not the rose bush, eh? Okay. I don't know if you can save it. You might want to save that rose bush for her. I think she'd really, really appreciate it. I see. She was asked it. Hi, Kayla. Kayla's asking on TikTok. My papa passed in December after a slow decline in his health. Is he okay? Any messages? He left very quickly. He's come back. He's reincarnated already. Don't get a lot that reincarnate so quickly. But that's the reason the slow decline for him is he was waiting for the preparation for the new form, the new body. You have to understand that before you come into this physical world, you have to have a physical body. Please hear me. For those of you that are confused about Roe versus Wade and all this, listen to this. In order for you to be in this world, you needed the specific body that you have. And you got it from a specific set of people. And it was only those people that could provide you with that body that you currently have. So what happens to the soul when it leaves the body? In this case, this woman's father left over a prolonged period. So his soul, the body is going through the decline, while the soul is trying to source out or find a vibrational match to its consciousness. That vibrational match will be in the form of a mom or a father, whether it's a single parent or a married a couple. It'll find a biological frequency that matches it. And when the sperm and ovum come together, at that moment of conception, there's a vibrational union that happens between the masculine and feminine principles of energy. And that frequency is specific and unique to that sperm and that ovum when they come to that new entity that's created, that new life form that's manifested, okay, is this very specific frequency for a very specific individual. Now, the powers that be know this. That's why they promote the mass. They're trying to teach people that it's good and right and proper to discard living beings before they're born. They're doing this because they know that the angels, the guides, Master Jesus, and many other come through that process. We all do. You came into this world through the process the exact same way as Jesus did, as Buddha did, as Zarathustra did, as Joan of Arc did. We all came into this world through the exact same process. And these demonic beings know this, and they're trying to close the doors for the hosts of angels that are trying to come here to uplift us. They know this. It's not about population control. It's about trying to stay in power and authority over humanity, keep people in suffering and war and poverty and disease while they benefit. And so they're trying to close the doors for greatness, great, beautiful light beings to come into this world. Remember that. So yeah, your father's reincarnating already as we speak, right? So he's already coming into a body. He's already found it. He's coming into this world. He's not on those dimensions. He's got some unfinished business. So yeah, if you know, I'm being told to tell you, if you know somebody who's having a child very close to you, it could be very exciting and interesting. But remember, every single one of you that's listening to this show, whether you believe this or not, the body you are in was vibrationally specific to your soul. That's the truth. And if you have the potential, you have the vibration. I mean, even Mary and Joseph, right? They were vibrationally prepared. The conception was immaculate in the sense that they were vibrationally prepared, and their energy was in alignment with Master Jesus, so that he could come through them, because they were a vibrational match for that process. And the same thing is true for any of us, whether you're a butcher, a baker, a candlestick maker. Your body you're in was designed specifically to resonate with you. So why do you think they want to have people suddenly changing their bodies and oh, I can make myself into something else, right? Why do you think they're having people do that? Because they want you to just be disconnected from who you are, from who you really are. They don't want you to be who you really are because they can't control you if you are being who you really are. You in your soul, as a soul, you will always know the truth from a lie. In your personality, the way you've been made to think and feel and believe by the educational system, you can be very easily confused and manipulated. So keep that in mind. That's my personal opinion, right? So happy for you. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Any message from my late grandfather, Peter? I'm just being told he's giving me the song, "Hey ho, the mistletoe." Like, why are you giving me that message? He just wants to know a big hug and a kiss to you. He wants you to know how much he loves you. But that "Hey ho, mistletoe," he's like, he's singing it pretty good, right? Anything else? Yeah, yeah. He's saying, tell her I'm okay. Are you referring to she who's asking the question? No, he's referring to somebody else. You already know he's okay because of what he just said about the mistletoe. But tell her, the other female, that he's okay. She needs to know. Here's a great question from Kayla. What are shadow people really? I see some. This is very exciting. There are different versions of shadow people. Okay, we had a student a couple years back who had this shadow being around her. She could literally see this silhouette moving along the walls in her home, and she was terrified. She was really afraid. And they told me to tell her to sit down, to put her fear aside, and sense or feel the vibration from that shadow that wasn't being filtered to the fear. So she put her fear aside, and all of a sudden she burst into tears. It's my mother. So again, it depends. For her, her mother was trying to get her attention that way, and they've been communing ever since. It's unique and distinct. I mean, there are shadow beings that can be lower vibrational. And this is very important. Why it's so important to release yourself from fear and restore yourself to love, because love will let you perceive things that are on that frequency. Fear will let you perceive things that are on that frequency. And there's massive amounts of fear mechanisms out in the world to keep people lost and locked in fear, because people in fear are disconnected from their soul, the place from where you can know the truth. So they keep you in fear. So again, put your fear aside and sense the energy of that being. Like, take a moment to sense the energy of that being right now. But put your fear, your anxious, your preconceived notions aside. Just relax, release your fear, and just sense their energy. And just sense if as awareness, if you're aware if the energy is negative or positive. You can know right away if you're in awareness. But if your mind is like, what is it? If you've got a preconceived notion that it might be something scary, you're gonna be blocking yourself from really knowing the truth. Fear will always block you from knowing the truth. Fear will always block you from knowing the truth. But yeah, the words that are coming to my name, by the way, are Shelley. The word that being named Shelley has just come in too. I don't know if that's for you, as that those shadow beings you're seeing, but the name Shelley has come in. Right. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, the orbs can interact with you. My son is using weed for years. I know educating him one way for him to stop using. Does prayer for him will help, or meditation on his behalf? Yeah, absolutely. Remember, people are addicted to substances because they're disconnected from who they are. It's painful. I was a drug addict. I've been an alcoholic. Difficult time in my life. And I see lots of people going through that. Lots and lots of people going through that. And addiction is a disconnection between you and your soul. Can you knowing who you are? You believe that the thoughts, emotions, and memories that make up your personality are who you are. They're not. That's just information you can utilize in the function of creation. But meditation will go a long way to assisting your son in remembering who he is. Again, people get attracted to physical sensation because it feels a certain way. Sex, drugs, anything will change how you're feeling to feeling better than what you do internally. And we only do that not because we want to be a drug addict or we want to be a sex addict, you want to be a weed addict. No, you're not doing that because you want to be that. You're doing that because that moves you away from a greater discomfort you're experiencing internally, right? So I want to feel better than I'm feeling, so I'm going to do something to make me feel better. Doesn't matter what it is. The moment you can get a person to shift inward, to release those emotions, to quiet the mind, quiet the body, they're going to start to connect to themselves as they really are. And it won't happen overnight, but sometimes it can. I've watched people who've done a meditative practice in one of our masterclasses, because we do 3 very deep discussions and meditations in every one of our classes. 3 times a week we do this. So it's about 6 to 8 hours of discussion and meditation time every week over every one of our masterclasses. And we've watched people just, their whole lives just change in a couple of weeks of just learning to teach their mind and body to settle down so that that soul gets out of the vacuum, the pit of the mind. Remember, there are many people that are gaining great benefit from your suffering and your fear on this planet. They're gaining much benefit from your suffering and your fear, so they want to keep you in it. So you buy their pills and you buy their drugs and you do the things that they want you to do that keep you mostly unhealthy, not being able to feel what you really want to feel, not knowing who you really are, always longing and yearning for something, never ever feeling fulfilled. I lived there for decades. Not a good place to be. And part of the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want to see anybody suffer needlessly. You're not here to suffer, you're here to create. Anyway, if you can get your son to start to feel who he really is, because again, people do things to feel better by nature. It's your nature to avoid pain and seek pleasure. And if you can just get your mind and body still and quiet, just go to that place where you train, where you literally step out of the noise of your mind, and you can learn to do this. I know for some people it's really difficult. I see people on the streets here in Toronto screaming at something they don't know what, but they're just screaming because they got something going on inside their head. They're actually fighting with an aspect of consciousness that's in contradiction to theirs, and they're trying to fight with it. And nobody's taught them how to bypass that fight, how to release that anger, to release that pain. Right? Your son is going to do good. He's going to do really well. He's going to be fine. Don't you worry. Now, Mary's saying William's classes are life transforming. Highly recommend. Thank you, Mary. I want to say the classes I facilitate. The classes are the Ascended Masters, Master Jesus, Buddha, Sanat Kumara, Master Saint Germain. We've even had the Dalai Lama, another Dalai Lama, Yogananda come in. Many different beings from different timelines come and teach these classes through us. It's an amazing thing. Thank you. Oh, yeah, somebody's saying that, Shannon saying, yesterday you answered my question and your message was not only beautiful, I could feel my loved ones. Congratulations, Shannon. This is so important. The word death has to be removed from the human language. It's transition from a physical state to a non-physical state of consciousness. I'm so happy for you, Shannon. That's wonderful. You get a chance to experience the energy of your loved ones, and anybody can learn to do that. You are a non-physical being by nature. You can perceive non-physical elements of consciousness. A lot of people, when their loved ones leave the body, they tell themselves they're gone, and that's a lie. They're physically gone. Yeah, they're not in a physical body. They cannot communicate in words. They cannot communicate in hugs and touches in the same way. However, they can communicate and connect you with energy. And I've watched people hug people that to my eyes seem invisible. They're having a communion. It's the most beautiful thing to watch when you see those events happen. And I'm so happy you had that experience, Shannon, because it does. The more you learn to quiet your mind and body down, the more you'll learn to see and hear. I know it sounds the opposite of what you might think, but your eyes only see, 10% of the light wave spectrum. Your ears only hear about 10% of the sound wave spectrum. Where's the other 90%? Who are you? Your body and mind are only a small fraction of who you are as a spiritual consciousness. And again, I encourage you, we got the beginning of our next 101 Awakening Masterclass is June the 24th. Runs from June the 24th to July 14th. I highly encourage you to go sign up for that course. It's our beginner's course, and it will instruct you on the fundamentals of how to start connecting to your guides and angels, how to awaken yourself from subjectivity to your mind and body, to then renew and rebuild your mind and body to be a beautiful thing, to really see the wonder and beauty that is naturally what your body's designed to be if you treat it right, feed it right, do right with it. You have a very unique body. And if you really knew how precious and priceless that body you're hearing these words through is, if you fully understood that, you'd be waking up in that body going, thank you so much. But a lot of people aren't doing that because they're not eating properly, they're not exercising properly, they're not thinking properly, and so their bodies are unhappy. And they get angry at their body for being unhappy because they're not treating their body right. They expect their body to take care of itself. Well, why am I so fat? They say, right? Because you're not taking care of it properly. You're not loving it. It's a divine instrument. There are people who are naturally the way they are. And if you get in alignment with who you are as a spiritual entity, your body will begin to go through a natural evolution. It will begin to take on the shape and form of who you are as a spiritual entity, whereas most people's bodies have taken on the shape and form of who their personality is. That is who you've been trained to think you're supposed to be. And I hope you wake up. I really do. I'm so happy for you, Shannon, that you can see and feel them. Ellen's asking, is there something from the family home my dad would want me to take when we move? I don't know why, but he's saying something about a floorboard. That's the first word he gave me, a floorboard. Something about a floorboard. Is it what's it? Something what's it for? That's it. It's just saying floorboard. First thing. Again, I don't know what that would mean, but anyway, Ellen, let us know what that means. But he's saying floorboard, and it's like very clear. It came first thing, floorboard. So I don't know what he means by floorboard, but I presume it's a board from a floor, right? But whatever that is, whatever you understand that to be, please, by all means, share your insight with us. Someone's asking if I can please sense missing people. Generally speaking, I do not focus my energy in that direction. There are other psychics and spiritual mediums that actually do that. I have been known to do that. I've been guided to do that on numerous occasions and have been quite surprised at how accurate the information is. But for you, this person that's missing is connected to anger, something very violent that's gone on, and they've been stuck in that for a long time. They had been stuck in that for a long time. They've been trying to get away from it, and now they are. In terms of location, I'm feeling very south, like very south. I'm in Toronto, and I'm south, and I'm seeing actually an image of North and South America, and I'm seeing like South America up near where Central America and South America meet. Something in there, that something is there. That's where I'm being directed. That there's something there. Are you in the body still? Yes. They're saying they're still in the body, but they're being very secretive and being very careful. Okay, I understand. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to respect that being's privacy because that's the other element too. Yes, I understand. I will respect their privacy, but somewhere in that area is where, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna leave it at that. Someone's at, hi, Angel Eyes. I was asking me, can I tell her something about her brother? He passed away a year ago. I don't know why, but he's the first word. Yeah, the first word that came to me is the word. I don't know what this word is for, but he says you know what it means. The word flipper. He says flipper. What's the meaning of that word? Okay, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. Again, he's okay. I don't know why he's so upset. Because they're not usually when they leave, they're not upset. What are you so upset about? It wasn't quite the way I wanted it to happen. I didn't get to do that right. I don't. What are you referring to? What is that? Leave. He didn't get to leave the right way. He's upset about that. It's. He's saying he would like to sit with you in the yard again, just to let you know that he didn't mean to leave like that. That that he'll be okay. That will give him great peace for you to have peace. That's he wants you to be at peace. That will alleviate his upset because he didn't mean to leave like that. I'm not asking you more details about that, but that's very important to him right now. That you have peace. That's the way he did not mean to leave the way he left. I know, but there's that other side too, that things happen because of how we create things. But that will give him, yes, that will give him relief, and it will give you peace, to be at peace. Oh, thank you. Yeah, she's saying, so Nana's saying, I'm looking for a 13-year-old girl. Yeah, well, whoever this person is, there's anger involved, and there, again, I don't know what the secretiveness is, but there's, yeah. I can say this, yes, I've just asked her if I can say this. The agent of her disappearance is known to you. The agency of her disappearance is known to you. Right, that much I can say. I know, sweetheart. I know time is crucial, but again, I can only present to you what's given to me. I can't give you something I don't have, that I don't receive. I can only give what I receive. That's what a medium is. A medium is one that allows information to come through. Yeah, but whatever was the agency of, whatever's the cause of that anger is, whatever that anger was that caused this, that's where you will unwind the whole thing. But again, I'm seeing this place. I keep getting drawn to that place at the where Central America and South America join in that area. That keeps coming very strong. All right. Again, I don't. Yes. So you're going to want to, whatever the anger is, let go of the anger. Let go of the anger. Like, let it go. Let go of whatever that anger was that caused it. I know you're in fear now, but anger was the initial cause. Right. My yeah, so lifelines, like somebody just asked, who are you? Hi Mike or May. Hi May, about her life path number. Life path numbers, This is so important. You can shift and change life path numbers if you can shift your awareness out of subjectivity to the mind and body. Because most of these things, horoscopes, astrology, many of these things are generated from our external world and can be rough approximations of possibilities. What you want to really do is, again, get your mind and body to a place where they're out of the way and where you as awareness can connect to yourself as a spiritual entity. When you connect to yourself energetically as you really are, you'll actually start to reorganize. Mind and body will vibrationally start to shift and change, which in turn will cause effects in your environment and will begin to reorganize your affairs to align to who you are as a spiritual entity and not who you may have been conditioned to think you're supposed to be based on your acquired programming from the world, right? Question from Mary. I've been getting a sensation in my heart and my lower sacral root. Can you ask the guides what this is? I'm getting two things, Mary. With the sensation in the heart, every time that sensation comes up, drink about 2 ounces of water. Every time that sensation in the heart comes up, drink about 2 ounces of water. I'm also being told to tell you that the energy down in your root chakra, the energy that's down there, you need to draw it up. You need to bring it up from there. This is connected to a survival issue as a child, where your physical well-being felt threatened. You need to take that energy and draw it up into the crown center where it will be transmuted. I know it might sound very strange, but literally when you feel that sensation, use your breath to bring that energy up from the root chakra. Bring it up. Whenever you feel it, bring it up to here. Just keep bringing that energy up here, and that will be transmuted. And the corresponding changes that have been delayed, the things that have been delayed in your life because that energy's been stuck down there, those delays will suddenly lift, and things are going to start to unfold for you really, really, really quickly. Wow. Thank you, Mary. I really appreciate that. I think I have time for one more question on TikTok, and we'll call it a day. So Nicole's asking, my father-in-law passed away 2 years ago, and she's saying that 2 years ago he left, but she was feeling his energy. Now she's not feeling his energy. That's because he's moving on energetically, and so are you. You're getting back onto your own life paths. Yes, doesn't mean you can't connect to him. Doesn't mean you can't connect to him. But he's now moving into a new life. He's moving into a new life for himself, and you're moving into a new life path. I like that. Number path, life path. Yeah. He's moving on there, girl. He's moving on. So many great questions, guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to call it a day. And again, I'm going to be doing different events throughout the week on TikTok Live, generally in the evenings around 7 p.m. I will still do the live shows Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday for Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok simultaneously, because that's what they want me to do. And we're just trying to get this information out, that you are not your mind, you are not your body, you have a mind, you have a body. You are a spiritual entity, and you are being misled by many of the authority figures in this world. It's time to wake up. Ascension is real. You are not alone in this dimension. You can access your guides, your angels, other ascended masters, but you do need to learn, like what they were saying earlier in the broadcast today, about learning the function of breathing, to train your mind and body to be still and quiet so you can reconnect to who you are as a spiritual consciousness. Because you're not going to find yourself in the world. Look at how many people are trying to find themselves in the world and not happy. What's my purpose? I got to find where it is. They're not happy. Not because they can't find it. It's because it's not in the world. It's you are the purpose. You need to connect to who you are as a soul. You need to remember yourself. And you've heard the term, know thyself. That's the most important thing. And most of what's in your mind isn't even yours. And most of what you're doing because of what's in your mind. And most of what's in your mind isn't yours. So many of the things you're doing, you know you shouldn't be doing, not because you don't want to do the right things, but because you've been programmed to do them. And until you can get out of your mind and out of your subjectivity to the body and get connected to your soul, establish that healthy hierarchy between your consciousness, your mind, and your body, where you're directing them and not being subjective to them. And you'll find yourself and your meaningful purpose in your life. You begin to recognize the things in the world that you need to go to, that you really, people you need to connect with, events you need to go to that really line up with your love. Because the function of love is very different than the function of fear. And everything you're going to hear coming through me is ultimately leading to that place where you return and restore yourself to your function of love. That's it. To return yourself and restore yourself to the function of love. I want to wish you all a wonderful and a joyful day. I look forward to seeing you guys on the Monday show. And again, much love, everybody. Bye for now.